Hey mamas, it's your girl Carrie, and welcome back to Mom Life, Career Life. Today we're diving into something that is so necessary for every ambitious, overstressed, beautifully chaotic working mom. We're doing a mid-year goal check-in and reset because even if January's energy fizzled somewhere between work deadlines and soccer practice, it's totally not too late to realign with what matters most, and you don't have to do it alone. If you need a little structure to help you reflect, refocus, and recommit, I've totally got you. I want you to grab my free goal manifestation planner. It's designed to help you turn your goals and those big dreams into doable, life-changing steps. The link is waiting for you in the show notes. Now, let's breathe, let's reset, and walk through how to finish this year feeling focused, clear, and on purpose. Let's jump right in. Are you feeling overwhelmed trying to juggle all the many hats you wear as a working mom? Do you want more quality time with your family without distraction of work and time alone to take care of yourself and your needs? Welcome to Mom Wife Career Life. I'm Carrie, a wife, mom of 3, and a recovering perfectionist. In this podcast, I will teach you how to create balance in your life by implementing healthy habits, organizing your home and your schedule, being intentional with your time and in your relationships, and most importantly, how to start putting your needs first because no one can pour from an empty cup. Grab that second cup of coffee, or if you're anything like me, your third. It's time to dive into today's episode of Mom Wife Career Life. I was originally going to make this episode a throwback because one of the first things I ever talked about on this podcast was how to do a mid-year reset. But I hit play on that old episode, and let's just say I've come a long way since then. The content, totally solid. The confidence, totally not there. I was still trying to figure out how to talk into a microphone without a room full of people feeling like I was a fool. And if you've actually been here since the beginning, I want to thank you for sticking with me through those growing pains. Truly, I appreciate you more than you know. But since we're talking about goals today, I want to pause and say this to any mom out there with a dream sitting on your heart. You don't need to have it all figured out to begin. Start scrappy, start shaky, start with what you have. Just start, because the magic happens in the doing. The clarity comes through action. The confidence might not be there in the beginning, just like mine wasn't, but it's built with every imperfect try. Just go listen to any of my first 10 or 15 episodes if you need that reminder. I had no idea what I was doing. I was Googling how to upload audio, how to edit the sound, tripping over my words, overthinking every sentence. A 20-minute episode would take me over 4 hours to draft, record, edit, but I still showed up over and over and over again. And I grew, and so will you. So if there's something you've been dreaming about, launching that business, starting a blog, a side hustle, finally putting yourself first on your own to-do list, please hear me when I say this. You are allowed to begin before you're ready. Start where you are, use what you've got, and give yourself permission to figure it out along the way. You'll grow as you go. And trust me, future you will be so dang proud that you didn't wait for perfect, because perfect will never happen. And while you're on the subject of starting, let's just talk about restarting too, because maybe you did start this year off strong with the color-coded goals, a brand new planner, all the hype, but then real life happened. Let's be honest. Some of those shiny January goals might feel like total ancient history. That excitement totally faded. Life got loud, work deadlines multiplied, your children's sports schedule turned into a part-time job, and somewhere in between that, I want to declutter the house and I should finally start meal planning. The goals totally fell to the wayside. But guess what? The year is not over. Your goals are not too far gone. And you, my friend, are allowed to hit that reset. So let's walk through on how to check in, reset, and align those big dreams with grace and with clarity. Step 1, check in with compassion. First things first, let's drop the guilt. This isn't a pop quiz. You're not being graded. This is just a little progress check-in, like a coffee date with yourself to say, hey, how's it really going? So break out that list you made yourself on the 1st of January. And if you didn't write anything down, but you have a good memory, write them down now and then go through each one. You're going to take a breath and you're going to ask yourself, is this goal still important to me? If it's no, then bless it and release it. If it's yes, then ask yourself, what has prevented me or held me back from achieving it? And be honest with yourself. The answer may well be self-discipline. I know for me with weight loss, it's totally self-discipline and the fact that I hate to cook. And Russ loves to cook and his meals aren't always the healthiest. And sometimes I don't have the best self-discipline when he makes dinner. And then last, what's one thing I could do or change to help me achieve this goal. This one's really important because, spoiler alert, life changes and that's okay. You're not behind, you're just reassessing so you can move forward with intention instead of that overwhelm. I actually do a little check-in weekly, a bigger check-in monthly, and then I realign and reset my goals every quarter. My Clever Fox planner actually has all of these prompts for this, so it makes it super easy. And I'm going to be honest with you, this year has had some real major bumps for me. Some things I've shared on the podcast, like my health, that required me to slow down big time. And other things I really can't share on the podcast for various reasons. But when I look at my goals I had for this year, it's so easy to be disappointed and to beat myself up. And in jumps my faith that I totally trust in God's timing. And that doesn't mean I have to be happy about it because I'm not. It just means that I have to be patient. It's shifting your mindset and then focusing on all the things you did do in spite of all those bumps. Like me, I constantly showed up 2 times a week for you, for this podcast. This podcast is one of my non-negotiables. Somehow in all the craziness, God has always allowed me to find time to get them done. So I want you to look at everything you've accomplished this year and lead with compassion as you're reviewing your goals. Step 2 is reevaluate and realign. Now that we've all checked in with where we are, it's time to get honest about what's still worth pursuing and what may have just been a good idea at the time, because not every goal we set in January still fits who we are in July. And that's not failure, that's growth. If some goals are still tugging at your heart, that's awesome. Some might need a tweak to make sense with the current season of life you're in, and some you can let go of. Yes, really, letting go, it means you're making room for what matters. So after you've narrowed down the goals in step 1, you're going to go back and you're going to ask yourself, does this still light me up, or am I chasing it out of obligation or what other people might think of me? Then you're going to ask yourself, is this aligned with the kind of life I want to create right now? And last, is this something that I truly want, or is it something I felt like I was supposed to want? The last one, that's big, right? So many of us set goals based on someone else's version of success. Maybe Pinterest, the PTA, your best friend's fitness tracker stats. But when you pause and ask, is this even mine? That's where real clarity happens. You are 1000% allowed to pivot. That's not quitting. That is wisdom, being the own CEO of your life. Step 3, recommit to just one goal. Here's your permission slip to simplify. Once you've finished step 2, if you still have a couple of things on that list, I'm going to ask you to pick just one goal and go all in. And I know we're working moms, we juggle a million things before breakfast, but when it comes down to our own growth and personal goals, trying to tackle everything at once is the fastest way to burn out and stall out. So ask yourself, which one of these goals would make the biggest impact on how I feel in my day-to-day life? Is it having more energy, creating more peace and order in your house, finally getting a handle on your finances, or maybe just carving out time to breathe and not feel like you're sprinting through every single day? For me, I've always had health and weight loss somewhere on my goal list, but if I'm being honest, it's truly never been a top priority. There was always something else that felt more urgent: work deadlines, kids' activities, this podcast, managing my house. But that wake-up call of feeling like I was having a stroke reminded me loud and clear that if I don't take care of my health, both physically and mentally, nothing else is going to work. Not my energy, not my mindset, not my ability to show up as the mom, the wife, the businesswoman, or just the person I want to be. So now health is my non-negotiable. That means when I'm looking at my week and blocking out my time, caring for myself comes first. That's the foundation. It's where I've drawn my strongest boundary. And sure, I still have other goals that I'd love to chip away at, like growing my business or cleaning up my basement so that I can finally get it painted. That's been a goal for, I think, 4 years now. But here's the deal. I only say yes to those goals if they don't interfere with my health, my peace, or time with the people that I love. If it adds stress, if it cuts out sleep, if it pulls me away from my priorities, then it's a hard no. So as you're recommitting, ask yourself, what matters most right now in the season of life you're in? That's the goal you're going to build your week around. That's the one you protect. And just like that, you're not chasing everything. You're showing up on purpose. Step 4, make it bite-sized. Okay, let's be real for a second. Big goals can feel really overwhelming, especially when your brain is already juggling the lunches, that work presentation, the science fair project that's due tomorrow, but your kid just mentioned it today. So here's the secret. Break it down. Big goals don't require big leaps. They require small, consistent steps. Steps that fit into your real life, not just the fantasy version where you have this endless energy and zero interruptions. Instead of saying, I need to declutter the entire house, say, I'll clean out one drawer this week. Instead of, I'm going to completely overhaul my routine, say, I'll go to bed 30 minutes earlier tonight. Instead of saying, I have to fix my entire budget, say, I'm going to cancel one unused subscription and maybe transfer that money into my savings. Micro wins matter. Small steps, they build progress. And progress builds confidence. And confidence builds momentum, which is where the magic really happens. It's not about doing everything. It's about doing something and letting that something be simple enough that you can actually stick with it. Step 5, set a start date and a new end date. This is where we stop thinking about the goal and actually put it on our calendar. Let's pick a real start date and a real end date, even if it's just a soft deadline, because when your goal has no timeline, it becomes a someday dream. And we both know that someday usually turns into never. So pull out your planner or your phone calendar or even a sticky note, whatever works for you. And I want you to circle a date that feels doable. Not ideal, not perfect, just doable and absolutely realistic. Like if you want to lose 20 pounds, losing in 1 month, that's not doable and totally unrealistic. I wish it was. But once you have the date, then you're going to work backwards into it. If your goal is to declutter your home by October, maybe that means doing 1 room per month. If your goal is to save $1,000 by December, maybe that's $250 a month or $62 a week or whatever it is. If your goal is to feel more energized and healthy, maybe your first milestone is just going to bed at 10 p.m. 3 nights a week. And on this December note, start that gift fund now. I know you may not know what your kids want for Christmas or Hanukkah, but you have an idea of what you might spend. So come up with that number, divide it by the amount of months left till December, and you know what that number you should be putting away each month is. And if you want to get serious about budgeting, create a savings account just for those gifts and have an auto transfer set up into that account every month. I actually have my paycheck split into a couple of different direct deposits so that I don't even have to think about doing transfers at all. It just happens on its own, nice and magically, but it's really whatever works for you. And I also have a freebie, my Christmas planning guide that has a budget section in it. The link to grab yours is in the show notes as well. But my point is, break down the goal into mini goals, small, manageable milestones, and make them visible. Write them on your calendar, plug in reminders on your phone, get it front and center in your face, even if it's just post-it note on your mirror. Do that if you have to, because when you can see the path, you're way more likely to follow it. And if you fall off track, that's okay. It's probably going to happen. You don't need to throw out your whole plan. You just need to hit that reset button, even if it's listening to this episode again, and pick a new start date and keep going. Step 6, get accountability. Let's just go ahead and call it what it is. It's really hard to reach your goals alone. Yes, you can be motivated, but you know what creates real momentum? Support. When you have someone in your corner cheering you on and holding you accountable, that's where real progress happens. And accountability doesn't mean you're doing something big and fancy. It just means letting someone in on your goals and giving them permission to check in, to encourage you, and lovingly call you out when you're ghosting on your own dreams. As I mentioned before, I'm making my health a priority, and I looked into all these different wellness programs my company has, and they actually offer free health coaching. So I signed right up because I know that if I have someone I need to check in with every week, that I have a way higher chance of sticking to my health goals. And for my side business, I have an accountability pod, a group of 5 amazing women from all over the US, and one is actually in Germany, which I think is absolutely amazing. We offer support, we share tips, and before we end the meeting every week, we say, okay, what do we need help being accountable for this week? And when we meet again the following week, we check in on those things that we wanted to be held accountable for. So it works out really well. You could do this in any area of your life. And I am huge on coaches. If you need help with finances, you can get a financial coach. I personally love the Budget Besties. I've had them on the show a couple of times before. They're amazing at helping moms create budgets that actually work for real life. They were the ones that gave me the tip on creating the Christmas account, so shout out to them. They were trained by Dave Ramsey, which does the envelope systems, but their whole concept is you kind of do that with different savings accounts. And I was never big on having a lot of savings accounts, but it totally helps. And their program is great. I'll have a link for it in the show notes so you can check that out too. And if you need help making time for your goals, like actually fitting them into your busy week without feeling overwhelmed, that's totally my jam. Helping working moms get control of their time, get clear on their non-negotiables, and setting those boundaries that protect your peace. That is exactly what I do for you. If you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and finally carve out space for your goals that matter most to you, I'd love to help you in that journey. My one-on-one sessions are designed to meet you where you are, messy calendar and all, and help you build a schedule that supports your life goals and your sanity. Link for that is in the show notes too. But whether it's health, finance, time, or mindset, get support. I promise you, investing in a coach is exactly what I said, an investment. Whether they save you money or honestly, time is the strongest currency you have. So getting better control of your time will have such an amazing ripple effect on all things in your life. But a good coach will help you get the results you're looking for. So as you look at one or two of these goals you're focusing on this year, ask yourself, who is your accountability buddy going to be? Write it down, call her up, text her, reach out to her or him, and get it done. Step 7, celebrate along the way. Every step forward counts. Every skipped Amazon impulse buy counts. Every night you prepped lunch instead of winging it. Every time you chose a walk over scrolling on social media. Every time you said no to something that didn't align to your values. Every little milestone you hit, that's a win. Celebrate it. And if something doesn't go as planned, adjust. And last but not least, you probably knew it was coming. Give yourself grace. Even though we touched on this a little earlier on compassion, it's worth mentioning again. You have to give yourself grace. This isn't about beating yourself up for not hitting every goal perfectly. It's about recognizing that life happens, priorities shift, and some seasons are just harder than others. When you wrote those goals down at the beginning of the year, you had no idea what life had in store for you in the upcoming months. And for me this year, when life happened and priorities shift and caused major distractions, I'll be honest, I've had to lean on grace more than ever. There have been moments where I felt behind, where I've questioned if I was doing enough, where I looked at my original goals and thought, wow, I really haven't done much this year. But then I look at everything I did do, in spite of those curveballs, the unexpected health stuff, the behind the scenes challenges that I haven't shared on the podcast. I remind myself that progress is still progress. Showing up imperfectly, consistently is still a win. So if you're tempted to beat yourself up for not hitting your goal and your original timeline, take a pause, breathe, and remember this. You're not behind. You're restarting with experience. You're not failing. You're recalculating your path. You're not weak for needing to slow down. You're strong for refusing to quit. You're doing your best. And honestly, you've probably done a lot more than you're giving yourself credit for. So if you had to push through timelines, shift your focus, or let go of a goal that doesn't fit you anymore, that's not failure. That's growth. That's wisdom. You don't need to wait until January to start over. Whether your goal is more energy, more peace, or more purpose, you can make it happen with clarity, with intention, and with support if you need it. So let's hit that reset button. Let's go after the life you really want. And remember, baby steps count, progress beats perfection, and you're already doing so much better than you think. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend that you think it might help. And I'd love to hear what goal you're focusing on for the rest of the year. So head on over to our free Facebook community, Work-Life Balance for Working Moms, and tell us all about it so we can help keep you accountable too. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Life Career Life with Carrie Pat. Before you go, if you found this podcast helpful, I would be so grateful if you would take a minute, go on over to iTunes and leave me a review. If you have other stressed out mamas in your life that you feel this podcast could help, take a screenshot of this episode, post it on your Instagram stories and tag me, and let them know that they are not alone and they can create balance in their life too. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover or you just want to connect, DM me on Instagram at mom.wife.career.life or come on over and hang out in our free Facebook community, Work-Life Balance for Working Moms. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Life Career Life with Carrie Pat.